This podcast is brought to you by JBP Music Incorporated.
Welcome to the hottest new podcast in the nation. What you are about to hear will stimulate your ears. We're talking news, relationships, entertainment, and occasional answers to your questions from the mailbag.
I want the attraction when I'm in the club. I want you to want me, just want your love. Fun till the morning light, in the morning.
This is another technique.
All right, let's do a mic check. Mic check 1 2 1 2.
Microphone checker.
1 2 checker.
Microphone checker.
1 2 checker.
Assata, we don't hear you doing a microphone checker.
Okay, mic check.
Oh gosh.
Okay, mic check. One,
Like
two,
like
one, two.
seriously, like I need to
We
adjust your
need to
volume.
hear you. Microphone
Okay, I said
checker.
Mic check. 1 2 1 2.
Wait a minute, let's adjust your. You have to embrace the mic.
I
See,
embrace the mic. What you want me to do to the mic?
hey, that's up to you. I just need to be able to hear you through my headphones. Getting no saliva on my microphone. Know that much.
You talk about embrace the mic. I mean, embrace all.
Microphone checker.
Oh man, how y'all doing? I am you know what I'm really enjoying doing this podcast with you all, and it's great that we can do such a wide array of topics, and so thank you for being a part of this.
Microphone checker.
Tonza is the anti-mushy.
Right. Well, I'll respond appropriately.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us, Joan. It means so much.
So are you
Awesome.
trying to say I wasn't appropriate? Microphone checker.
So, Tonza, you have been inquiring, if you will, about how to regain your footing in the dating scene, and
Yeah. What?
I mean, are you finding that it's like riding a bicycle, getting back into single life, or is it like the things that you used to know about dating have kind of expired? I mean, what's your experience?
Yeah, the things that I used to know about dating have expired because my 20-year-old dating self is totally different from my 45-year-old dating self. And after being in a relationship for 12 years consistently, and I'm having to learn a lot.
Playing catch up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Plus, I would think that your mindset shifts. What you want as a 20-year-old.
Oh, for sure.
right. It's
For
totally
sure.
different than what you
In my
want.
20s, I was Miss Independent Woman. I don't need a man.
Mhm.
They're just like a piece of jewelry.
An accessory.
Right.
An accessory.
At 45, I'm professional. I'm still independent, but I'm at the stage where I'm like, yeah, I want a man in my life. Don't necessarily need him, but want him. In my 20s, I think I saw needing and wanting as one and the same. So,
Well, when you say you don't need a man, you mean financially, right? Emotionally,
I want a man.
you want a man. Okay.
So I'm okay being single and not in a relationship. I can live with that. I'm not going to drop dead if I don't have a man.
Sure.
But I honestly would love to be in a relationship again.
Right. I think some women are wired like that. Some women are wired to want to be in a relationship or be someone's wife or boo. Or
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree, and I think Tonza, what you're talking about is knowing the difference from wanting companionship and feeling like being in a relationship or having a man actually defines you.
Right.
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 Yep. Well, we found an article on Madame Noir
Yes, very good.
Mhm.
Thank you. There was an article written by Julia Austin a few years back, and it's entitled 7 Things a Man Only Does If He's Serious About You. And one thing I've noticed, especially from my sisters that are 40 in the 40 and over club, is that it's kind of difficult to sift through the messages and really kind of determine the language. Because, men speak a totally different language than we do. And
Totally.
you have to decide if his actions
Right.
and his words actually match up. And it can be really confusing.
And
if-
very
For
difficult.
sure.
Yeah.
Very
For sure.
difficult.
But I don't think that's limited to the 40 and over crowd. I think young girls are having the same issues as far as trying to figure out what is he really saying. And honestly, I think men kind of like to keep it confusing. Some men try to keep it confusing like that.
I don't know if it's so much that they try to keep it confusing. I think they just speak and they are like, I said it. Why don't you get it? I mean, obviously, you know what I'm saying? Obviously, if I wasn't into you, I wouldn't be here engaged in a moment or whatever. Why do I have to be explaining all this stuff to you?
Well, let's get on into the 7 things that he'll do if he's really into you.
What this article is saying.
Yes.
Okay.
Because I think that can clear up some questions. And yet, no matter who you are, we know it's confusing. It confuses us. So
Right.
this article we found helpful. So we're going to share it with you.
And
Okay.
and I would be curious to hear from our male listeners at some point if they agree with the 7 things that are in this article.
You know what? We will hear from our male listeners because I want to give our male listeners a shout out. You guys have been so supportive.
Yes.
Really.
Honestly, we thought that we would appeal to a primarily female crowd, but guys
Are tuning in.
You're tuning in and you're sending us messages.
Right.
Yes.
Really showing up.
Great feedback.
Yes. So thank you for this.
Shout out to the men.
Yes.
We
yes.
love you.
Thank you.
Okay, so the first thing that he does is he asks you about that thing.
What thing?
Right. I need some clarity, please.
That thing. No. He asks you about that thing that you have going on in your life. If you have an interview coming up,
Oh.
if you have a presentation to deliver, something that's on your schedule that's important to you that you're successful at, if he's asking about your level of preparedness or how did it go, then he's into you. That means that when you're talking to him, he's listening and he cares.
And he remembers and he follows up to make sure that, hey, how'd you do?
So there are men out there like that, huh?
There are
There certainly are.
Okay.
the ones that are really into you.
I think that is okay. Yes, I would vote yes. That is a good sign that a man is into you.
They're
Because-
tuned in.
Right, they are tuned, dialed into you. Yes,
All right. So number 2 was he clarifies missed calls.
very important.
Yes.
Very
Oh,
important.
really?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Okay. That's good to know.
No, it's not cool when you call him and it's noon.
And you don't hear from them until the next
6.
day at
Yes.
noon.
Yes.
Yes, that's the
Right.
Or even 6.
Right, but
that's a
still, I mean,
problem.
but it's just that's being considerate though. Say,
Right.
hey, look, I got tied up. Well, something came up at work.
Right.
Da 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 da.
Yeah, when then we're not talking about, bugging you like
Right.
I'm gonna call you every hour on the hour.
No.
But
No,
at
no.
least give me some feedback.
Sure.
I know if when you're with me and your phone is in your hand the entire time, I know doggone well you did not just see that I called or text you and then you just take for granted, oh, well, I'll just get with her later. At least send a text. But if I have to tell you that,
Right.
then you're not that into me.
Or when they try to act like they don't see your text.
Right.
They
Yeah.
just kind of leave it in that delivered status.
Yes,
Right.
changing the settings on the phone. Like, I didn't see
Right.
it. I don't know. Well, I missed it.
Right.
Okay,
so-
so I vote yes for this one too.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now this one we found funny because this next one, if he offers to help,
Oh yeah.
but we were talking on another segment. We were talking about the mailbag. the second episode, when the young lady was like, what was it? Not Sherry. Who was it? Veronica.
Okay.
Veronica.
I drew
She's
a
like,
blank.
I did too. Like, I'm trying to decide if he'll think I'm this if I go all the way. And remember, I was like, does he cut your grass? Does he
Right,
change your
right,
oil?
right.
Well, in this case, if he's thoughtful enough to offer to help you, if you're moving, or if you need shelves put up in your
Right,
home, or those
right.
type things, does he offer to help, or does he kind of get scarce until you're done doing all that you got to do, and then be like, "Hey, boo, can I come over?"
Right. And have you cooked anything? What's there to eat?
Yes. I mean, if I had a man that would be like, "Oh, you cooked all this," I got the dishes.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Mhm.
This is very interesting and enlightening.
I vote yes for this one too.
I
I
agree.
think men tend to show their feelings by actions. You know, if they're doing for you,
So if they're not doing, if you're moving and
they
you
get
don't
kinda,
hear from them
right. They
until
kind of ghost.
that Monday after you move,
Yeah.
that's a sign.
Ooh.
Yeah. You calling and they just really ghost. Talking about my phone went dead.
I mean, because
But should I even have to call if you know I'm moving? Should I have to say, "Hey, can you give me a hand?"
No, you
Or
shouldn't.
Especially
should they
not if
extend an
they're-
offer?
right, especially not if you're, been seeing each other or
Mm-hmm.
stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
If he's trying to go to that next level, then he should.
Because that's something
show
I
up.
would do for him.
Sure. Okay.
Exactly. Number 4, planning ahead.
Define.
Okay. He knows that he's got a function to attend a month down the road.
Mm-hmm.
And he knows that he wants to take a guest, and that guest is you.
Mm.
There's a difference between saying, "Hey, I would like for you to come with me to this function."
Mm-hmm.
That means that he's thinking ahead. He can already visualize you on his arm, versus versus when you get together and it's like you're a pop up in his head.
Yeah.
Right.
Like it's always
Like you're a
spontaneous.
last minute thing.
Yeah, spontaneity is great, but
Mhm.
when that's the only way you do things,
Mm-hmm.
then it starts
Kinda
to make
ratchet.
you wonder. Yeah, or
Yeah.
am I a plan B? Did something else fall through?
Right.
Why are you
right,
calling me
right.
at 10:30?
At the ninth hour.
Yeah, why are you calling me at 10:30 p.m. asking me to get together?
Mm-hmm.
What were you doing all day?
Mm-hmm.
So I guess if you never get invites at all to functions, that's a sign as well.
Yes, that would be a sign.
Okay, he's just not that into you.
He's not that into you,
Okay.
girl.
That's
All right.
Okay.
And number 5.
So I'm not crazy, huh? Oh, I'm
no,
sorry.
you're never crazy. You are never crazy.
Okay. So we vote yes for that one, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And number 5 is that he cares about your career.
Yes.
That's important.
That's
Right.
very important.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, that goes without saying.
That's like a no-brainer. Like dude, I've got to
Mhm.
work, and
Isn't that similar to the one we talked about where he asked about that thing? Like he's concerned about your
Yeah.
your professional development?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Right. But you want somebody who thinks enough of you to give you constructive criticism. If you're wrong or if you need to be redirected, like, hey, maybe you should work on coming, being early or being more
Right.
or doing it this way.
Are just able to talk to you about
About
your
it.
career and your
Yeah.
growth.
and I think being supportive, because we
Right.
have dreams and aspirations that involve further education.
Mm-hmm.
If it involves taking risks, and it also can lead to some market success that may even exceed that of your husband or your boyfriend. And it's important if that doesn't become a threatening part of your relationship.
Yeah.
I mean, I experienced a little bit of that, before, like always just wondering if I really was supported in my endeavors.
And I thinking back, I would say my best relationships were with men who were interested in me, my career, my development, and we could have a meaningful dialogue both ways because I definitely was invested in their
him.
well-being.
Right. But with you building him up, he also needs to build you up. too.
Absolutely.
And speaking of building you up, guess what number 6 is?
What is number 6?
He brags about you.
Oh, yeah, awesome.
He is all around town.
Why is she looking at me? Why are you looking
Well-
over here at me?
Well,
I don't know.
I don't know.
Okay,
It's just-
awesome.
no, but
Number
no.
6, Tonza.
No. bragging about you and proud of you.
Mhm.
Everybody in town knows that you are his woman, and he when you have these little minor successes, he's the first to tell somebody, yeah, my baby did this, or she's graduating from grad school, or you know, she just redid the bathroom,
Right.
and just
that's my boo.
right,
That's-
fall back.
Well,
Right.
some men seem to think that by bragging about you, that opens your relationship up to public scrutiny, and they're afraid of that.
Okay, well, how about bragging to the family about you?
They
At
don't have to-
least
right,
something. You don't have
right,
to put an article in the paper,
right.
but at least go on record that someone can say something positive that your mate has said about you. Someone ought to be able to say, "Oh, he just thinks the world of you."
Yes, because he's always saying nice things. I mean, you know,
So if you're a secret, that's
Oh,
not a
well,
good sign.
if you're
No.
a secret, then no, red flag.
that would be a problem.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
All right. So we voted yes for all these. What's the last one?
Still
The last
curious
one-
what the men think, but
Yeah,
Okay.
men. You're gonna
we
need to get with
definitely
us.
want you to tune in.
The last one is that he just wants to cuddle.
Now, cuddling is, you know,
Important.
very.
Yeah, but I wonder, does that mean, he? What was that? That was a glitch.
Technical difficulty.
So I think what it means is, I'm not sure. I'm hoping that it doesn't mean
You're not
that.
sure what cuddling means?
No, I know what it means.
Oh, okay.
Pull it up so I can pull it up for me, because if I scroll down, then we're gonna
Oh,
hear that
okay.
noise again.
All right. Keep talking. I got you.
I wonder if
It
it means that
means-
he can't want something else later, like after the cuddling session is over. Like if he tries to go to the next step.
I think what they're saying is if his initial goal is just to have you over to hang out, cuddle, without the idea of sex.
Yeah, because-
However, if it happens, certainly, and you both are willing and want to, sure. But you don't want to feel like he's always calling you just when he
sex.
wants
Exactly.
to have sex.
For
Like
sex.
like holding you.
It's not a
cuddling
booty
you.
call.
Yeah, cuddling you is like good too.
I want a little more than
yeah.
Right. And then you don't want somebody that bounces up right after sex. Like, thank you. And I'm out.
I'll call
Right.
you in a couple of days.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Right. Or not.
right. right.
But you know what? There are some people, you know, you guys have heard me talk about the 5 love languages. There are some people that just aren't inclined to cuddle, and men are less likely in some cases to want to cuddle than we are. But if
I think it depends on the man.
Yeah.
I think it
so.
really depends on the man.
well, I mean,
And sometimes, you know, you have a bad day, you know, sometimes you just need somebody to kiss you on your forehead and be like, it's
Yep.
gonna be all right.
I got you.
well,
Yeah.
in my travels, a lot of, I guess my friends that I know personally will just say, you know, I've got a few that they, you know, need space from the man. Like, it's hot, you know. And then in other instances, I've got friends who long to have their hands held and and those type things. And it's really a willingness to meet each other halfway there.
Sure. But I guess for me, I just have different needs on different days. Some days
Right.
I want my hand held. Some days I want my kiss on my forehead. Some days I am hot. Stay away from me.
I want those things every day.
Oh, well,
Okay.
see, like I said, it's just the person, the individual, right?
Right.
Tonza.
Sorry, what? What was the question? Well, I think it varies for me as well, because I've been in some relationships, and I guess when I was checked out and not really present, where cuddling was not happening on my part.
You weren't cuddling.
Right,
Uh-huh.
right. But when I was present or interested, I wanted to cuddle and have that physical contact much more than if I wasn't present. But like Assata said, there are days where I'm just like, no, I don't need you to hold my hand.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, does that mean that you're not then into him, or do we need to find the
No,
female
no,
version?
No, it
No.
just means at that particular time, I'm not feeling the
Right,
physical.
right.
Right.
But I think that people are clear if I'm into them because
You
y'all
know.
always say I'm on
Right.
10, so I
But
make it pretty clear.
you know
Yeah.
deep down inside when someone's into you. You know it, and we have
Right.
to
Yeah.
learn to trust our gut. You know that little nagging
Right.
feeling, and always
Mm-hmm.
if you're always wondering,
Mm.
then you need
Then
to
that
stop.
means
You
he's
need to,
not.
yeah, you need to pause and say,
Mhm.
hey, let me reevaluate this thing
Right.
here.
And what does it mean to you?
Hell wrong with you?
You know, when you're recording, mouth things happen. Okay.
Mhm.
Anyway,
Mhm.
we took a break from the broadcast today. Yeah, I'm rolling with it. I'm gonna leave that little thing because it happens.
Okay, fine.
Thank you.
Okay. Focus, ladies. Focus.
Yes, ma'am. We just took a break from the broadcast to
As she goes through her phone.
right. We went on Facebook Live. We had a discussion on Facebook Live, and it was really engaging. And the question was, we posed a question, and we had quite a few people to chime in. And the question was, would you date outside of your race?
Yeah. And she thought it was the thrill that he was different that made her go out with him. Okay. She tried a couple. That's
Okay.
cool.
Well, you know, if it just doesn't click, it doesn't click.
Right.
And then Ashley said most people that
Hey, Ash.
do the one will usually try to like or fit in with the other. So it kind of defeats the purpose to me. Okay, that's very
So I
yeah.
guess she's saying the white guy will try to act like a
right,
black
like he's
guy.
black,
Mhm.
or
And I wanna-
vice versa.
I want
you
to
know.
point out something, Tonza. Ashley is in the 20-somethings
Oh,
age
okay.
group.
Cool.
So we aren't just appealing to,
The 30s and 40s.
the cougars.
Mhm, mhm.
I thought this was a question about race.
Well, you know.
The hell?
Remember, I'm gonna embrace my mic.
I embrace the mic.
And it was very hard. It was very difficult to resist giving our answers during the live broadcast. But I guess now it's time for us to share our responses, and then we're going to give you some feedback from the chat. Why are you looking at me like that?
I'm just looking.
I think I did share my. Did
No,
I?
you didn't.
I didn't. I did a good job.
No,
I kept it to myself.
you did.
Okay.
You did. You kept it to yourself.
With a little nudging.
Joan,
Because you were getting
shared-
ready to spill it.
You shared yours, right?
Mm-mm.
Oh, okay, cool.
So who wants to go first?
So I would date outside of my race.
Okay.
Now,
Mm-hmm.
when I was much younger, absolutely not. Would not consider it at
Why not?
all. I guess I just felt it wasn't appropriate, and I wouldn't have anything in common with someone from another race, and I was just very much pro my brothers, and felt like I was being disloyal to them if I would dare consider it. I did have one white guy to ask me out when I was in college, and we went out, and the chemistry just wasn't there. And after that, I just kind of shut down the whole idea of dating outside of my race. But now I'm at a different place, and realistically, there are just not a lot of black men available. So I'm much more open-minded now than I was back then.
Well, I went to a white university for college, and my father, before I left, before his little girl left to go, he pulled me to the side and he said, "Look, we need to have a conversation." And I said, "Okay, well, what's going on?" And he said, "Look, I'm gonna tell you just like this." He said, "I'm sending you up there to this school with all these white folks, and don't you bring no white boy home here. If you can't go to his house and be around his people, then he can't come to mine." And so I went off to school, and
And that's stuck in your head.
and that's his voice stuck in my head, and so I did. I went out, and with a guy, a couple of white guys, but I'm telling you, I mean, Nate's voice was like in my head every time.
Yes, you knew you weren't bringing them home.
Exactly. Exactly. So
Did you feel like they would take you home?
I couldn't even get to that point. It was me. I was the
Okay.
hang up.
Okay.
I could not get beyond date 2 because I'm like, you know what, I just can't do this. You know, I just can't. And so, and I think I was more uncomfortable about being seen in public with them at that point in my life. Because like when we were on Facebook Live, I said, to me, you really have to be comfortable in your own skin as a Black person to be able to deal with all the outside influences, the side eyes, the stares that you get and everything. But, you know, now, you know, if that were available, you know, an option, you know, I think I could date someone outside my race at this point because now I don't care. But
well, you know, based on some feedback we got, a couple of people sent us messages on our Facebook page, and apparently a lot of Black parents have that disclaimer conversation with their children, and particularly Black women with their Black sons. Don't you bring no white,
right,
up in here. And so I think home, your family is where you get your validation from, and if it's okay with them, you might be able to get past the stairs.
Yeah.
You might, you know, but when they tell you because when your family is like, we're not going to accept it. We're not going to accept you. She's not welcome. He's not welcome here. That's the biggest deterrent, I think, for a lot of people. And I know a lot of Black men can testify that their mother has had that conversation with them. And I've got someone
She goes with the legal terminology again. And has she answered the question? I'm sorry, ma'am.
I haven't answered my question.
Answer the question.
Well, I was addressing the person that sent the anonymous message in the thing.
Oh, okay.
So I don't necessarily remember my family saying that to me, but some things are kind of understood, and I do have people that are very close to me that have had those conversations with their children. And you know what with her sons. But you know what my reaction always is?
What's that?
I'm just going to be honest. After my experiences with relationships, you know, with my daughter, as far as I'm concerned, I don't care if he's purple. I don't care if he's turquoise. Because if he treats you with respect and with love and like a queen and makes you feel good inside, I would rather you date a white man than a Black man. Not that Black men are abusive.
Right.
But if you have 2 boyfriends and the Black one just happens to be the abusive one, I want my daughter to be safe. I want her to be loved and that kind of thing. And as far as I'm concerned, I'm the same way. I haven't, since that one date in college that I spoke about on Facebook Live, I haven't dated outside my race. There was this one time and there was just one date. But I'm like Tonza, in 2016, I'm not afraid to. I don't feel like, you know, it's something that is, well, I don't care what's socially unacceptable when it comes to that because it's all about how a person makes you feel.
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
Okay, you guys, we took a caller a minute ago, didn't we?
Yes, we did.
And so I just want to share that conversation with our audience, and here goes. So we've got a caller on the line. His name is Jeff, and he wants to chime in because he was watching us live on Facebook a few minutes ago. So, Jeff, what's up?
Hi, ladies. I am here.
Hey, Jeff.
I'm doing wonderful. How are you?
Great.
Great.
We're so glad you decided to call in and join us.
Yes, I wanted to call in and chime in on the question, would you date outside of your race?
Right.
And me personally, yes, I would. Because love has no color. If you find someone that makes you happy and you all can go and do wonderful things together and enjoy each other, why not? I mean, just because your skin is black, that's the only thing is black, or your skin is only white or Puerto Rican or whatever the case may be, but that shouldn't deter you from exploring and enjoying one another.
I agree.
The reason why I called, I saw Mrs. Tonza Buffalo. She made a comment, and I just had to pick the phone up and call.
Okay, well, what's the comment that? You talking about the DMV comment?
And let him tell us what the comment. You just keep wanting.
Yes.
Try to revoke my little black card. What comment,
when
Jeff?
you get that back?
Well, it's been so much going on and so much said. I would have to go back and look at the live.
That's cool. I'm totally okay with you not remembering what I said.
Especially if it's black card related.
Right.
Yes. Mrs. Assata Buffalo, I saw her on the side commenting. So I said, well, listen.
And
Now,
nudging Joan.
Buffalo's phone and chime in.
Yeah, that's
and
my brother.
Answer that question because I saw a lot of other women answering the question on live, but I didn't see any men, so I just said, well, let me be the first one to make a comment.
Yeah, there were a couple of men. There were a few men that chimed in, and we're thankful that you actually called. Of course, all the men aren't privy to our personal cell phone numbers, but with Assata being your sister, and we really appreciate you doing that, and we appreciate your support, and we definitely respect your opinion. And it's going to be out there for everyone to hear that Jeff said, why not? Love is love.
Oh, yes. And also, I'm waiting to hear your response because, as you said that you were going to give your response later, I want to hear your response to the question, would you date outside of your race?
And Jeff, you are going to have every opportunity when you tune in to Sisternomics episode 5. You can find us on iTunes and Facebook and Google Play. So Jeff, again, thanks for calling. We got to sign off because we've got to get back on air so we can get episode 5 in the books.
All right. Well, it was, I enjoyed talking with you ladies, and you all keep up the good work. And anytime that I see you all go live, I will be more than glad to chime in and answer any and all of your questions.
Thanks, Jeff.
Well, all right. Thanks, Jeff.
All right. Take care. Yeah.
Bye-bye.
So I have just had the time of my life today.
Yes, because the Facebook Live thing was that was fun. It was awesome.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, it was.
Joan wasn't going to let us off of Facebook Live.
So
I was like,
the thing I have learned today about Joan is that she is a broadcast whore.
yes.
Oh my God.
We got about
we
fall
were
to
both
fighting.
nudging her.
Yes,
like,
I'm
get
like,
off.
Joan, it's supposed to be a teaser. Why are you
Right.
still talking? You still talking.
Like,
and
there are people still there.
I get
Yes,
that.
you have to-
leave them wanting more.
Right.
They
Joan.
will.
Leave
They
them
did, but
wanting more.
you know.
And she's like, no, wait.
Right.
Ooh, and so just popped on.
And then
I
she drags
love
it
the
out.
fans.
Hi, Rashina.
I know.
I love the fans.
We get that. I
See-
learned that today.
See, if we were
We do
if we were
too.
singers
We
and stuff,
do
y'all
too.
would be the ones that wouldn't sign autographs. Y'all be
No,
like, "Come on,
no,
Joan,
no,
let's
no,
go."
no.
Well, okay.
Yeah.
I would be the one still at the
Anybody-
line
right.
signing
She'd be
autographs.
the one saying, anybody else?
Right.
Anybody
I'm
else?
signing autographs over here. Hello.
We'd be like, Joan,
Right.
everybody is gone.
Right.
Well, I guess if
Can we
I
get in
had,
the car now?
Right.
I guess if I had to be a whore of any kind, a broadcast tour, I'll take that. I'll be that.
Okay. Well, yeah, because you are.
All right. So I mean, you know,
All right.
right.
So, ladies, we've been talking about dating and signs that he's into you
Or not.
Or not. And would we go outside our race? And we did.
Or not.
Yeah, or not. And so I think one of you's divorced. Joan, how long has it been?
3 years.
3 years. And Tonza is separated since
7 months.
7 months.
7 months now.
And so I think maybe it would help our listeners. I mean, quite a few of our listeners probably are either have gone through something similar. Maybe we should talk about the concept of, y'all being divorced. And
I really wish you would talk in the mic so
I
Joan
know,
could
so
stop
she would
pointing
stop
at you,
telling
but
me
okay.
to embrace.
It's
Would
better
you
than
like to nudge me?
I
and tell
wish
me
I
to
could.
embrace my
Assata,
mic?
your shoulder is really like a battering ram. If the police needs to get in someone's house, they don't need to bring the battering ram. They need to call you. Assata,
Okay.
meet us at 102
Hey,
Chestnut.
No problem. I got your back. If you need me to hit somebody with your shoulder, with my shoulder, I will. But anyway, so maybe y'all could talk about, being divorced, what it's like, what it's been like for you.
Or separated.
Your journey, your struggle. Where are you now?
Divorce is one of the most difficult things that you can go through. Well, that I've been through. And even though, when it's over, it's over. But there are a lot of fears that spring up when you talk about starting over. When you've been married for more than 10 years, 12 years, it's like, well, how do I start over? How do I go back to doing these things by myself again? And then when there are children involved, you worry about, I worried about what's coming up later. I know in my dealing with my mom's death, it didn't hit me until I was in my 20s, what the whole scope of everything that had happened. Because children don't realize the severity of things in their life until they become adults sometimes. At least that was me. And I'm like, oh my gosh. You know, and I didn't deal with it then, but it manifested itself when I became an adult. So I worried about my daughter's development and how she would feel about her parents splitting and everything. And what I discovered was that we did the right thing. Me and my ex-husband. We did the right thing. It's a shame. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not happy that my marriage didn't make it. But I think that we are both individually probably more emotionally available to our daughter apart. I know that my daughter has an opportunity to see a happy mom, a stress-free mom, and a mom that is able to go about her business. And every day I come home the same Joan. You know, I don't have the weight of the world on my shoulders, and I'm no longer going to work with whatever I'm bringing from home. But if you have to do it and you're afraid, you got to trust God. You have to pray. If you're a praying person, and you have to know that, you know, if you've done it before, it's like riding a bicycle.
Done what before?
Right.
Been on your own.
Okay, right. The counter to that is if you're a praying person, you know, the Bible, God loves marriage.
Yes, he loves the ones that he put together. But if you put it together and then consult him on the first go round, then I mean, this helps me sleep at night.
Okay.
I don't think God necessarily put us together. I think we did that. And when we don't take him in with us, when we don't take him to the altar with us, we can mess some things up. And then we're the first ones saying, God, help me get out of this. Help me, Lord.
Yeah.
And he's like, you should have
You should have consulted me
been asking me
before.
before.
Well, so Tonza, how do you feel as a recently separated woman?
Well, since it's kind of new for me, I guess I kind of think about it in terms of the stages I went through with my separation. And
Go ahead.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead. You said
okay, Assata is being a time whore right now. And she's been checking the time on the broadcast all day.
Okay, so I'll keep mine brief.
No, go ahead.
So for me, it's just been a journey because in all of my relationships, once I hit my 20s, I made a conscious decision that I was not going to be an angry person. I would work through whatever it is that I'm feeling so that I can come out a better person. And I think the reason I'm like that is because I see so many people that stay in a place of anger, people that I love dearly. So the first couple of months, I was extremely, extremely angry. Then I went through the phase of being really hurt about, you know, the breakup of my marriage, even though I made the decision to leave. And my husband couldn't understand the pain that I felt because he's like, well, you decided to leave. So.
Go ahead. You're good.
We're multitasking.
Right.
It's Terrence Tonza's nerves all the
up.
time.
Yeah. Go ahead.
It's just been a process for me. And like you said, Joan, when you're in a relationship for a long period of time, because we were together for 12 years, married for 3, it takes a lot to adjust to being on your own and not having that person there to help. Because despite the fact that my husband and I didn't get along emotionally, he was very much the man of our house. He kept things together. You know, he made sure the cars were repaired.
Right.
When we went on trips, like, I never carried a bag. My kids never carried bags because we were girls, and he just, you know, that's what he did. He opened doors for me. He cooked. He brought a lot to the table from that standpoint, but we just had so much going on emotionally that it wasn't very healthy for us or our children. And unlike you, I didn't spend a lot of time stressing about the long-term effects of my decision to leave on our child, because I had come to the point where I felt like if we stayed together, she would be more damaged because, like you said, she was only being exposed to two toxic individuals. And now that we're separated, we're both so much better.
I totally get that. And, the experiences that we have, when we go through traumatic events, and I think divorce can be a traumatic event, I think it shapes your mentality and how you deal with it and the things that you consider. I think one of my biggest fears about that, Tonza, was I didn't have, my mother had died and my father wasn't in my life. And I felt guilty and I wondered, am I subjecting my daughter to the same feelings that I had growing up? And of course, the victory is, now, and we talk about this kind of thing all the time, she's okay. And, you do what you do and it's going to work out.
You said something I wanted to pick up on. So quite a lot of writers and people equate divorce to death, that it is just as a traumatic experience. Is that your reality? Did y'all have that happen?
See, I guess I didn't, because I was constantly having to be in touch with this person because we had a child. So it wasn't like a death wherein I could bury him or it and be done and work on how do I move on not having this person in my life. Because we have a child, we're always going to be in each other's life if we do the right thing by our child.
Right.
So I guess it wasn't like a death to me.
Joan?
And in my case, it certainly was. I really hate it. We do not communicate. And I would love to be able to communicate for her sake. But different people, he handles it his way. I handle it my way. And it may seem that, I'm just living my life and I just, no. Yes, it's up there. And I think initially, in the beginning, I was very hurt and very distraught, and it took me a while to regain my footing, and I had to go through a grieving process, and I'd say it took me at least a year where I grieved my marriage.
The death of your marriage.
Yes, okay. I grieved the death of my marriage. Absolutely.
Okay. I was reading an article and it was saying that when people divorce, when you're divorcing, you've both touched on this, you can choose behaviors that absolutely improve your sense of self and your interactions. In other words, you can make the choice not to send that nasty text or when you're angry. And do you think that you were able to do that? Or again, was that a process for you?
It took me a couple of months to get to that point, but I got there. Both of us got there fairly quickly because we always promised that no matter what, we were going to do the right thing by our child. And I think that because that was playing in the back of both of our heads, we were able to get to a place where we could peacefully coexist for her sake. I'm not going to say there weren't times where we both were like, I really hate you, because you go through that stage. But at the end of the day, we took a step back and said, okay, so for example, her birthday, we were separated and it was still pretty fresh. And I had to make the decision, do I include him in the festivities that I was having for her? And I made a decision because I was still kind of angry. Despite that, I was going to include him, and we were able to really have a good time for her and with her.
And
I think we ultimately decided that it was best not to text at all, because every text conversation seemed to turn into angry text. I don't agree with that. Again, I think we need to be able to communicate, but if we can't communicate on a civil level, then I guess we need more time.
What would be the message that you would like to leave with both of your daughters, and what would you leave with your daughter if she were in a situation where she was struggling or trying to decide if divorce was what she needed to do?
So I guess the main message I would leave with my daughters is that ultimately it's about your happiness. and you only get to live once. I don't think I realized just how important it is for you to live your life until a couple of years ago. And so I want my children to understand that at an early stage, so that when they're making decisions about life and the path that they want to take, they understand how things can affect them and impact them in a negative way. I'm hoping to stress the self-love piece so much that maybe they won't have some of these struggles that I have had. But in the event that they do, because life, brings you struggles, ultimately it's about them being happy.
And for me to add to what Tonza just said, it is very important to make sure that you and your mate are equally yoked.
Yes.
Very much
If
so.
you know you can't put up with certain things and they just really get under your skin.
Don't ignore the warning signs.
Please don't.
Right.
Please don't ignore the
Yes.
warning signs, and be honest with yourself and know that whatever problems you have going into marriage, it's something about once you eat the cake,
Right.
those problems are going to magnify
Sure.
by tenfold.
Right.
Yes.
Right, they do. They always tell you at the wedding, at the little bridal showers, start out like you can hold out. And when you're in your 20s, you don't understand what that means.
Right.
You don't.
Oh, and another thing, don't get married because all your friends are getting married. And the
Right.
person that you happen to be
Right.
dating in your 20s, he's got to be the one. You'll know it. Don't
What?
necessarily do what mommy did.
Right.
And they need to know that they're going to evolve and grow.
Right.
So if you get married in your 20s, in your 30s, you're going to be a different person.
Right.
Well, let me be clear. I don't mean don't get married in your 20s. When you're in your 20s and your friends around you are getting married, don't you feel like
you have
to do
Right.
it because
Right.
they're doing it if you're not ready?
Right. Because, and you're right, if you get married in your 20s and that moment, that person is your soulmate,
Yeah, do it.
do it. But the important thing at that point is to make sure that
You can grow together.
you can grow together.
Exactly.
And that as you're growing, he's growing, and you're not growing apart. You choose to do things that will make you grow together.
Exactly.
Right.
Well, ladies, on that note, I think it's time to cue the outro music.
Yeah. This has been a really
Another
fun
great show.
and wonderful.
Another one. You
Yeah.
guys are a blast. So we'll get together the next time. Oh, don't forget, subscribe on iTunes if you're listening on iTunes.
Yes.
If you're not, get over to iTunes, iPhone users. And you can find us on Facebook at Sisternomics. We are on Twitter at Sisternomics. We are on SoundCloud. Our website, sisternomics.com, will be up. Don't go there just yet because you're going to see a construction sign, but just check back. We'll let you know. And we're on Google Play Music. It's been great. Peace.
Told you once, and I'll tell you twice.